Welcome back to the Tech Couture podcast. I'm your host, Kabir Shah, live from Fashionology. Today I'm joined by Chelsea. She's part of SpreeAI. Chelsea, thank you for coming on to the podcast. Thank you so much. Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so a little bit about me, former D1 athlete, national team athlete, Arizona and then Philippines national team. And I say that to say is I didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up.
Yeah.
And I ended up going to college thinking I was going to be a pro athlete. I learned the harsh reality at that time when I graduated of women's sports. You go on, play pro, make less than minimum wage, and at some point you start a career outside of sports. And I started my career at Nike World Headquarters. I call it my hands-on MBA. I was there for 6.5 amazing years, doing everything from product merchandising, e-commerce. And by the end of it, I really learned that I was so curious about where consumers were headed. So my career actually shifted and I entered the world of tech, but all within these like emerging consumer behaviors. Yeah. So I joined Instagram to build their social commerce platform and help creators learn how to monetize. And then they deprecated that product to focus on the metaverse, as we all remember when they changed their name.
Right.
And so then I joined TikTok and helped build TikTok Shop before there was ever a shopping platform. Did that pretty successfully, then moved over to Temu.
Yeah.
Out of all places, to build their biggest competitor to Amazon. And I was there for probably about 6 months. And then that's when our CEO and co-founder reached out to me and said, hey, we're doing something pretty cool here at SpreeAI. And I'm like, what is SpreeAI? Oh, it's an emerging technology. Let me get into that. And so that's how I've been here at Spree. Yeah. And I head up the Partnerships and Business Development team, which has been really, really fun.
Well, I love the athlete's mindset. But what's already evident is that you've been at the cutting edge of consumer commerce. So I'm curious, why Spree for you? And what is Spree?
Good question. So SpreeAI is a fashion tech software as a service company. We create a platform where we're building a suite of solutions. We're building all these different features that brands and retailers can just simply plug in to their e-commerce website with only a few lines of code, which makes it super easy for them. So when you think about the fashion space, some of the biggest friction points that consumers face and retailers face are, how does this look like on me? What does this item fit like? How do I build an outfit for an event I'm going to, so on and so forth. So our team is essentially building this full stack with all of these different features to reduce those friction points when people are shopping at Spree. And when you asked the question, why Spree? I do my due diligence. Yeah. And when I first started researching the company, I started looking at the founder. And John is an incredibly impressive guy. And oftentimes, again, from the team mentality, it's about who's to your left, who's to your right, because startups are not for the faint. No. And John and I really instantly built this connection where I said, I want to be a part of this team, building something. And you know what? There's chances that it could fail, but at the same time, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm doing hard things, and it's been an incredible experience so far.
And as a virtual try-on technology, I've known a few companies in this space, and a lot of them have catered towards the consumer specifically. And that's, I think, been an obvious challenge for those businesses. As you're selling to businesses, as you're selling to brands, what has been their reception so far? And what are they excited about when they're bringing Spree on?
Yeah, I'm just going to pull back a little bit because I think what's happening at an industry level right now is AI became this thing last year where it freaked everybody out. It was doom and gloom. All jobs are going to go away. And then the mentality in the world shifted. And within the fashion industry, and I think any company in general, these leadership teams are instructing their leaders and saying, hey, figure out which AI technology, which platforms, services will actually enhance our business, will make us more productive, more profitable, and just be on that cutting edge. So Q1 of this year, we're seeing a lot of brands just try and figure out what is actually happening. You're seeing agentic commerce happen. You're seeing all these AI startups happening. You're seeing new open models launch on the market, you know, every other week it seems. And so Q1 was really about learning. Now what we're seeing in Q2 is people starting to say, let me just test. But these big companies are still risk adverse. As much as they want to say they're innovating with AI, there's still that cultural history of how they behave, which is they don't want to jump in head first. There's a few that are doing it well, like, the Gap and Google, but there are some that are really still trying to figure it out. And so I think companies are excited about where AI can enhance their consumer experiences and make them more profitable.
Yeah.
But still at the same time, everybody's still just figuring it out.
So when it comes to the brands you work with right now, what is their experience like when they're onboarded, when they're actually using it? Is it something that I go to a brand's website and I upload a picture of myself?
Yep.
Is that image then going to be transposed onto me? Can I see what that
Great
realistically look like today?
Exactly. So number one, we use the term photorealistic.
Yeah.
When you're buying something, it creates this emotional connection. You remember something about it, makes you feel confident when you put it on. You're buying it for a reason, a job interview, a wedding, you're going to propose to somebody. There's that emotive element to it. So when we think about our technology, we want to make sure we're not creating those friction points. For me personally, and what I've seen from other consumers that we've talked to and brands we've talked to is avatars are great, but at the end of the day, people still want to know, what do I look like in it?
Yep.
How does it fit me? What's my size? How can I style it all these different ways? So now back to your question about how brands are using it. It's they want to learn more about their customers. They want to understand, and there's so many parts where you can use this data, right? So the first part is what are people actually wanting to try on? What products are they engaging with? This is sending signals to your e-commerce teams, back up to your product and development teams of saying, we are on trend with what consumers want to click on. But if you're clicking on this green shirt and you're not checking out, there's something else going on there, right? So is it the fit? Is it, what is it about it where they're not converting? So brands are constantly thinking about how to use this technology to learn about their customers while at the same time making an impact on their P&L or their bottom line. So they want to know, how can I sell more full price? How can I increase the average order value and units per transaction? And more importantly, if you got distracted and left that in your cart, how can I retarget you and say, hey, this looked really good on you. And by the way, it'll go great with that pair of slacks that you have.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I think the technology that Spree and your team is building today, it goes beyond obviously that first layer of getting the consumer to even purchase the item. On the back end, you want to make sure as a brand that they're not returning these clothes. It is such a big problem for brands, for consumers obviously as well. Something doesn't fit, you don't really like it, right? You're more prone to return it. I'm sure I don't have to tell you,
of course.
Terrible mess on the back end with reverse logistics. So I think that's also where probably some of the biggest impact lies today.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the most obvious ones too for our clients is when you're reducing returns because people are confident about how it's going to fit and look like on them. That's important to solve for. But for us, when we think about adding value, it really has to be a lot broader than just reducing the return rate. So we need to think about, conversion, which also can lead to returns. But beyond conversion, how are people styling things together? How am I just learning more about my customers and their behaviors on my site?
I guess final question to sort of wrap up. We see that other broader competitors in the space, Google, they came out with Doppel last year, which is their own version of a virtual try-on photorealistic platform, integrated that now into just their broader Google search. But as you think about more and more platforms either adopting or wanting to build out this technology, do you feel more confident that this is a right path you're going down?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here's the thing. Competition is good.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, look at athletic apparel brands, okay? Nike's got competition. Adidas, New Balance, On has come onto the scene. You're seeing Allbirds. You're seeing all these different companies come into a market that they thought was pretty mature. It's not. Competition is good. It actually makes us a lot better.
Yeah.
What I would say though is it's also a good market signal too. So if Google's looking into try-on, if Nvidia's looking into try-on, okay, well we're right in the right market and there's enough brands out there to satisfy those needs and we all can have a piece of the pie. What I would also say too is there's different experiences everywhere. So like we were talking about earlier, is consumers are going to shop on your website, they're going to shop on your app, they're going to shop on a Google browser, they're going to shop within ChatGPT, Claude, all these other systems. And so we need to make sure our technology is where the consumer is. And that's what Google's doing. Google is doing it where it is within their Chrome browser. Well, what if I'm on another one? I think that it's a great market signal. We're at the right place at the right time. Now it's just making sure that we play the long game, that we're protecting our IP, we're protecting our technology, and we're making sure that we're getting accounts onboarded and that they want to stay with us because our tech is that good for them.
All I can say is one thing that these other competitors don't have is they don't have you.
Oh my
They don't have the rest of the team
You're the best.
at Spree. So I'm excited for it. I love the mentality you have on the team itself, and honestly, go get them.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks.
Thank you all for listening to Tech Couture. This is Chelsea. This is SpreeAI. Definitely check them out and follow along for Tech Couture.